Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season of AI. Today, we are excited to have Harshavardhan Bajoria with us, who will be delivering this powerful session on data and AI. So, if you are looking to stay ahead in the world of AI, this is a session you won't want to miss. So, without any further delay, I would like to invite Sir to take us on this exciting journey of AI.
Thank you, Sudhanshu, for this warm welcome. Could you please just check? I think the stream hasn't started yet.
Let me just see.
Yeah, it has been. Cool. Awesome. So let's begin today's session. Just let me share my screen. Cool. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So in today's session, it won't be about like what is actually an MCP or what should we like what should we do with it, or like what are the different cases where actually we should actually work upon it. It would be more of a practical understanding of how things work and how different things align over there, so that you get a glimpse of understanding that okay, this is what model context protocol or MCP means, why we should actually use it, and how it's actually helping and empowering all of us to build innovations for the future. So, what's our agenda for today? We'll be understanding what is MCP, how does it work, in-depth overview of it, and a real-world scenario with Microsoft Learn MCP Server and building it. Now, the first thing, in the past year, we all saw the coming up of agent mode out there. Now, what do I mean by agent mode? So we saw something called agentic coding, or we saw things like cursor, or on the screen that you can see GitHub Copilot, which could actually read through your code, entire code base, understand, plan, execute, and iterate to give you a multi-step coding task, and then automatically make the changes if you allow it to. Now, there are many applications out there like GitHub Copilot, Cursor, uh, Amazon Q, and a lot more, which you can use and can help you actually ease your task of coding to actually just thinking it out loud and getting it coded on its own. Now, that sounds pretty cool and awesome, but was it enough? Not at all, because the major challenge that you actually faced over there was understanding what could be done better. Like, for example, okay, it coded it well, it write out well, but what if you need real-time data? What if you need it to actually grasp data from your database? It couldn't. For that, we got something called the MCP. Now, let's check out the timeline. So we had tools that were integral and uh, understood the agent, but we required something that could actually understand and do the agent performance. We didn't had that. Next, let's say we need to control and integrate many applications out there, as you can see on the screen itself. Let's say you want your Postgres to communicate with your GitHub or Windows Copilot, or you wanted your Drive or your SharePoint to actually connect with your VS Code. For that, you had to build different connections out there, and the integration became a chaos. Next, let's say you were in someone who wanted a single source of it. For that, you got MCP, and that's where the need for MCP arose. We got a model context protocol which included one single source that could talk with your VS Code, your agentic server, or any of your Windows Copilot, with your tools that are out there like Drive, SharePoint, or Postgres and get the things done. So it was acting as if all of this are integrated together to work on a single thing. It's like having a USB-C but for AI. So what it does, it allows your LLMs to talk with any of the applications that you want by just providing it the context and creating a standard pipeline or a standard way through which they can contact with each other. So you don't have to have different protocols, you don't have to have different scenarios, you don't have to have different connections to actually build it up. It's like just like the example which I told you before, just like a USB-C that connects with all of your devices so that you don't have to get different charger for different devices. And it was created by Anthropic, and now it's been adopted by the AI community to build different tools and connect your LLMs with it. And it's helping a lot of companies out there to actually evolve and connect, like the recent use case that you must have seen of Zomato. Now there are different parts of the MCP. The first one is the host. What is the host? It's like the place which actually interacts with your MCP server. So if I just go back, it's like the VS Code or the Copilot or the agentic server that would actually use the particular MCP. It's the person or the thing that you would be using to actually consume that particular LLM out there. Now, next we have clients. What does this client do? This client is actually there to actually help you connect with both of it. So like GitHub Copilot or your Fabric or your Windows Copilot, it allows you to interact with those MCP server. It can be Cursor also, it can be Amazon Q, it can be Kiro, it can be anything that helps you interact with it. Last but not the least is the servers, where you host your MCP or where you put your MCP. You can use your local server, you can put it on Azure, you can put it on AI Studio, you can use any other tool that you want to actually host your server out there. So the server hosts it, the client actually interacts with it, and the host consumes it. Now you can actually interact directly with the client. So for example, you interact with GitHub Copilot and it directly interacts with it. Now you can set up and use your MCP servers by going onto any of the links that's here based upon the language that you want. We'll be going to the complete demo and I'll be showing you how to build one towards the end. Again, using AI. So I would prefer that I show it you in a quick way so that you can go and dive deeper later half. Now, how does MCP work? Okay, so you have an MCP client which invokes tools, queries the resource, or interpolates prompts. Okay, which you saw out there, like the GitHub Copilot or Cursor or Kiro, that actually clocks it. And there's MCP server that actually exposes those tools, exposes the resource and the prompts, so that you can actually interact with it with the client. Now, this tools can be any of the function that you have written. So it's like you write a function called def calculate, which has the property which takes two variables a and b, and you have to return the sum of it. Simple. That's a function that should be called when you say that, okay, I want to sum up two numbers. Similarly, you have other tools like you want to retrieve, you want to search, you want to send a message, you want to update your DB records. Any of the thing that you want to do can be done over here. Okay, these are the tools or the model controlled MCP servers that are being exposed with the help of MCP. Next, you have resources. Resources are application controlled. and it's like your data which should be exposed to the application. It depends upon many factors like RBAC policies or IM policies that you have enabled or the need of it. It can be files, it can be API, it can be database records, it can be anything that should be exposed in a particular condition based upon the application. Next, you have the prompts, which are predefined templates for AI interaction. This actually allows you to have document Q&A, have your transcript summary or output based upon certain criteria or based upon certain needs or requirements. Let's have a look at some of the tools. So let's say you have a tool which you should actually call based upon your needs or requirements. Okay. So there's a tool that LLMs can call to perform specific actions just like your function calling. Okay. So like you can see over here, it has a tool we call ran navigate to a URL playwright MCP. Playwright is the place where it was hosted and it ran navigate to a URL, which actually navigated toward the URL, and then it called a tool called take a screenshot to take the screenshot. Similarly, you can have any tool that you want, like send email, update to dos, run test, or file issue bug. Tools now can be based upon the user controls. Like you can actually choose, okay, I want this tools uh, to be present or to be available to the user. They can also actually mention those tools to be used. Like for example, you don't want the LLM to actually choose the tool for you. You want it to actually use that tool automatically, and you want to define it and say, okay, you have to use this tool. So you can just use the hashtag command and tell that, okay, use this particular tool. Or you can just enable or disable, like you can see on the first and the last screenshot. We'll be watching all of this in demo right now after a few minutes. So just hold on to it. And then comes the resources. So you can add in your own resources, which are exposed data in a read-only fashion as URIs or client agent user. Now it can be some images, it can be some documents, your files, your database entries, or anything that you want your LLM to have as a resource. Which helps you return embedded resources, which helps the agents pull the data, expose the data files to the user, which helps you provide assets for the user to act upon, and also it helps you attach it as a context. Prompts, the last thing. It is the predefined template for AI task, which can be invoked by the user. So it can be either static thing that they have already written or reusable, which with they have written with placeholders, or you can generate it dynamically. So what are different things that it can have? It can have onboarding prompts, context aware workflows, or common workflows that you already have. Now let's go to a demo. Okay. So let's say I have my computer which has the host as VS Code and the client as GitHub Copilot, or I'll be using the AI Studio for now. I'll be creating an MCP server which will have the MCP protocol and it will use the local data source to actually extract the data. I'll also use the MCP server to contact a web API and get the internet from the local data store and then get it all to the GitHub Copilot or Amazon queue that I have right now. Now, this is the flowchart that you would be seeing out, which I'll be using. to actually get the data. Okay, let's build it up. So I go to my VS Code, I open a new window. Cool. So this is my VS Code, and I just create a new repo for it. So let's name it testing MCP server. Cool. And I open it up. Okay, now I want to create an MCP server out there which actually works. Okay, so what I do is I go to this Amazon queue for now, or let me try it with bit of Copilot if I have the credits left. Cool. So I just type in, okay, create a MCP server that okay, let me see the YouTube's API. So let's say I want to extract data from the YouTube's API. YouTube, or let's say I want to go to sessionize and get the data. So let me log in or go to discover speakers. Yeah, let me inspect. Let me go to network. Let me type slash API and search for a speaker. Okay, I got a speakers list. Is the API exposed? No, it's not. Okay, some other API which I could use. Let me go to unstop.com and check it out. Security network. I type slash API and I maybe search for any of the hackathon, let's say Adobe India. So I got this list and I got a list of, let's say, featured hackathons. Okay. So let me just copy this as a curl and then use it over here. Create an MCP server that would call the unstops featured hackathons list and get me the list of featured hackathons from it. Here's the API. Okay, and I press enter. So it used it as the reference, and now let's see whether it codes for me or not. So it's actually creating a small Node.js HTTP server. And I click on allow to actually allow it to create those package. So let's go to package.json. So you can see it created for me a package.json which has the dependencies and the script as node index.js. It's a tiny MCP server. The index.js, if you see, it's a simple health endpoint to actually check whether it's working. The unstops API out there and the port number 3000. It says that okay, call this API and run upon it. You can see app.get slash featured. So this is the API endpoint which is running on the package that has been created. Now .env example would have my bearer token over here and the readme.md out here, which is over here. So let me just run this command to actually install the requirements. Cool. Let me get my bearer token out from here. So yes, it's like the API key token that I have. So let me just create a .env file, paste it out here, copy this, paste it. Now when you see, I call the curl slash ss command with the help, it says that yes, the status is okay. Now it says that yes, it's working fine and the server status is working. So now when I run the featured one, let's see, unstop bearer environment is not set. Okay, this is because of this. Save it. Now it has made it ready. Cool. So now let me do npm start once again over here. Okay, it's already running somewhere, I believe. Cool, let's curl this. Okay. Let me maybe expose this up. Export. Let me go to the terminal, or let me just restart this. Save it. File, new window, and yeah. So it says unstop feature running over here, and let's run this command. So you can see I got the complete list of the things that are running right now. Now let's say, okay, this is running and this is working, but how do I check it with my Copilot? Like I want to connect it with my LLM and get the data. So let me just ask it. Okay. I want to connect, or maybe let's do it on our own. Okay, so here you go to extensions tab. Okay, and you just download this AI toolkit for Visual Studio Code. Now, this allows you to actually have your own MCP server run locally. Awesome. Now, here you will get this option. Click on it. Okay, so this option has your MCP servers listed, your models, and your agents. Click on this plus icon. Click on Add by MCP JSON. Okay. Next, I have this ready. So I am just copying this up, creating a comma, okay, giving it a name as unstop featured, giving the argument. So let me just, where is the index.js? Okay, it's here. Copy the path, put it out here, and in the command, let's give it as node. So what did I give it? Get is as command npm start. Okay, I think there would be some error. So let's see what is the error that we would be getting. So if I just refresh, I get these two options. I click over here and I click start. So it says unable to start it. So what should I do is just take it and say, please allow me to run the unstop featured MCP server which you created now. So it used the reference of the previous thing that we were doing and now allowing me to actually debug it. Now that's the power of agentic coding that we are using to actually build an MCP server that we have. Okay, so it says that use it from process env. Okay, cool. Then it asking me to actually run the command and see if it's working or not. Okay, it's saying that yes, it's working. The featured MCP server on localhost 3000. Okay, cool. Uh, so what it did was it changed the command, it gave the argument. Okay, cool. So let's see if it works right now. Start. Okay, still it's not working. It's saying the please verify your MCP.json configuration setting npm start is not there. Okay, so let's take the help server over here for this project. Okay, so it says that it's an HTTP server, not an MCP server. We forgot to create it. So now it has created an MCP server. And as you can see, it has the model context protocol being called with the unstop API. And it has the setup tool. So it has created the tool which has been called get featured hackathons. And now it's taking all of this from it and calling it from the stdio. Cool. So you can see it's working. So let it create. Okay. So now it's calling the node mcp server.js to actually call it up. Let's just call it and see how it's working. Now let's go back over here and start it. You can see it started with the tool get featured hackathons. Now let's write the agent. Now it's connecting with an agent out there. So just let it load for a minute. It does take time sometimes. Yep. So now connect the agent with the tool of MCP server. And here's the MCP server and stuff featured. Here you can choose the tool that you want, which you were talking about previously. Let's click on OK, and I have one of the tool out here. I can give it a name like uh, rookie and key. Okay, and I said even hi. Now you can choose the model that you want, obviously, from here. Hello, how can I help you today? I want the list of featured hackathons from Unstop. Okay, now it called the Rookie Pookie, called this particular thing out there, and it got the complete data from it. Okay, but since it was much large, the output, it couldn't actually display it to me. So if I have other models, like I can actually go and connect it with the Microsoft Foundry models out there. How to do it? So I can just go and plus and choose any of the Olama or the custom model that I have from my Onyx or Hugging Face and use it out there. It takes bit of time to actually load this model. So I won't be able to show it to you, I believe, right now. But yeah, this is how the whole thing works. And this is how you can actually use it. So if I, let's say, create a simple tool to actually show it to you, to the MCP server that I have now, please add a tool which can say hi Harshavardhan. That's MCP. Great. Every time I say oops, every time I say hello, Harsh, every time I say is Harshvardhan here. So first of all, I'll be showing you the MCP server.js and tell you how it works. Let it just do its job till then. Cool. So this is the MCP server.js. What it has. First thing, the MCP server where you define what is the tool name or the MCP server name, what is the version, and then you define the tools. So I have two tools out here. One is get featured and greet Harshvardhan. Then you handle the tools of, let's say, if this tool is called, what should be done? If this tool is called, what should be done? Else, what should be done? When this is called, you just write a function in a simple manner. Similarly, you write it for the greet Harshvardhan, and then you start say, okay, if this starts, what should then run this particular server, which will call this class and then run all of it out there. Cool, pretty fine. Now, if I go to my agent builder and I go to edit tool list, it again shows me one tool. Why? Because I need to restart my server. So let's restart it. Okay, where is it running? I think it's running over here. Let me just clear it. And I type in start. Okay, now it's running over here. And I click on refresh so that I can get both the tools. Okay, still not there. Click on start. Yeah, I got both the tools. Now let's go to the tool MCP server, unstop featured. Both the tools are here. And let's clear it up. And let's do hi. Okay, the command, let's go to MCP server and I say over here, where is Ashwar? See, Ashwardhan is here. If you want to greet him or no more, just let me know. So it called this particular function, returned hi Ashwardhan, that's MCP, great, and it said in its natural language. So it gets the data from it. And this is how a simple MCP tool can be created and it can be used. Now, if you want to do it for any other thing, like for example, MCP library in Python, it's already there, which you can actually use to clone and just work upon it. So let it just load. Let me just close the server. It's taking a bit of time. Okay, I think my net is pretty slow. Yeah. So this is the MCP server that you have out here. Okay, so you can actually install this library and use the SDK to actually run it all for your Python functions. So this is all that you can use. There's Microsoft Learn MCP server, which is available through which you can actually get information or fetch data from it. It can be used just like the Zomato server that's there. And you can build your own MCP. The official SDKs are present in C Hash, Java, Python, Kotlin, and TypeScript. and it works the same way that we saw just right now. So these are all of it that we have, and you can actually use any of it out there, which you can see on the screen. So you can have the model context protocol in Anthropic, build local and remote MCPs through C hash, Azure or Azure Functions or Microsoft connectors, have your registry, have your tools, and finally your MCP client and host to actually consume it all. We have GitHub MCP registry, which you can actually work with any MCP compatible host, including GitHub Copilot, which can help you reduce your reduplication, increase confidence, and choose which MCP servers to be used, like Figma, GitHub, Azure, or any other that you have. Here's the complete thing that you can actually go to learn and explore about it. You can just scan this QR code and share your feedback with us. Would love to know more about it. And you can join the online AI community at aka.ms/AI Discord to be updated about all of these sessions uh, and understand how things work, and also be there to actually explore and uh, get the latest updates about MCP servers that's there. Thank you all for joining in. Hope you liked it.
Okay. It's over, right, Harshvardhan sir?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, and I hope you all gained some insightful information from here. And thank you, Harshvardhan sir, for joining us and delivering the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudhanshu, for calling me out.
Thank you.
Thank you.